Hello, first and second grade. It's so nice to see you. I'm thinking about you, even though I can't actually see you, but you can see me. This is going to be my very first art blog, and I'm going to call it Smith's Art Blog. And I will be reporting to you every Sunday and posting every Sunday and sharing with you different things related to what we'd actually be doing if we were in the art class. So I would like to introduce you to an artist. Her name is Georgia O'Keeffe. She was born in 1887. She died in 1986. And she is a really famous artist. And she's known for her paintings of flowers, bones, skies, hills. She was a lover of nature. So I'm going to read you this book called My Name is Georgia. So I am just getting used to using the camera. So I'm going to read you the story. And here we go. When I was 12 years old, I knew what I wanted, to be an artist. I've always known what I wanted. When I was small, I played alone for hours and hours and hours. I was satisfied to be all by myself. I did things other people don't do. When my sisters wore sashes, I didn't. When my sisters wore stockings, I wore none. And when my sisters wore braids, I let my black hair fly. So she seemed like she was a free spirit. She did what she wanted to do. I rode to town every Saturday to copy pictures from the stack in the art teacher's cupboard. At home, I looked out my window and drew pictures of what I saw. Maybe I could make something beautiful. At school in Chicago, I drew from statues in the museum. At school in New York, I painted one still life painting a day. Every day. At school, I painted my teacher's ideas. But when school days were over, I went out into the wide world to discover my own ideas. I went to the Texas plains, the Wild West of my childhood books. You have never seen sky. It is wonderful. I walked into the sunset. I felt the wind across the plains. And I painted the sunset and the sky and the wonderful loneliness and emptiness of the place. I painted day and night. I worked till my head all felt light in the top. I have things in my head that are not like what anyone has ever taught me, shapes and ideas. But I bundled up my paintings and I went to New York City to be where other artists live. At that time, all the artists wanted to move to New York City and be with all the other artists and become famous. I walked down in the canyons of Street. I lived up high in the clouds and painted what I saw from my window. But sometimes what I saw from my window was the far away calling me. I wonder what that far away is. I painted a garden in the city. I wanted everyone to see flowers the way I saw them. I looked closely at the flowers. I painted a camellia. I painted it big so people would notice. I painted a jack in the pulpit. I painted it big so people would see. So when she painted, she drew and painted her flowers so it filled the canvas. very little space around the flowers. I painted poppies and petunias and sunflowers and jimson weeds and irises and apple blossoms. My garden bloomed until everyone saw the flowers the way I saw them. But still I looked to the sky. The distance has always been calling me. I went to the New Mexico desert, so far away that no one ever comes. I was satisfied to be all by myself. It was too dry for the flowers to grow, but there were bones. I gathered the bones, big bones, little bones, short bones, long bones, a cow's skull, a horse's skull, a ram's skull, and brought the bones home to paint. One day I held up one against the sky and saw the blue through that hole. I painted what I saw. I saw the sky and the red hills. I walked in the hills at daybreak and twilight, at noon and in the starlight. I painted the arms of the two red hills reaching out to the sky and holding it. I painted the Pedernal mountain in the far away. I painted it over and over and over again, and then again and again. And just to let you know, Pedernal also is a Spanish word pronounced Pedernal, and a Pedernal is actually a flat top mountain in New Mexico. And she loved to paint the mountainous landscapes in New Mexico. God told me if I painted that mountain enough, he'd give it to me. I drove my model across the desert and back and up and down over the hills. I painted in my studio on wheels until the afternoon bees chased me home. Even in the winter, I went far out into the far away and painted in the bitter cold. I painted when the wind was so strong, it nearly blew me away. I did things other people don't do. I climbed my ladder to the night sky to wait for the sun. I slept under the stars to see the morning sky when I woke. I stayed in the desert. My hair turned from black to gray to white as the bones. I still walked the red hills. My pile of bones grew. My flowers bloomed in the desert, and the Pedernal was mine. And you can see her on top of the Pedernal right there, almost as if she owned the landscape. And the sky, oh, it was still wonderful. I painted the sky one more time. I painted my sky big so people would see the sky the way I did. I worked from dawn to dusk every day for weeks and months. Then as I painted the last cloud, the sun slipped behind the Pedernal. I laid my brushes down, kissed the sky for me. So that's the end of the story. And George O'Keeffe lived to be 98 years old. And her artwork is in museums all across the land. People see her flowers, deserts, hills, cities, and skies the way that she did. And she definitely has a very distinct style. If you were to walk into a museum and if you would have looked at work before you went into the museum, you probably recognize it. She has a very, very distinct, very, very special style. So what I would like you to do is to paint a landscape with mountains and flowers. And you can use any art materials that you like. You can use watercolor, crayons, markers. You can do mixed media, meaning you're using more than 2 art materials. And I would love to see them, and maybe someone at your home can take a picture of it and then post it on Google Classroom. So if you have any questions or comments, you can post on Google Classroom. You can also email me, and I look forward to seeing and hearing about your artwork. So remember, you're painting a landscape with hills and flowers. And you know what? If there's something else that you want to paint, you can also do that. Georgia O'Keeffe painted what she felt passionate about, what she loved. So if you said to me, I don't want to paint mountains and flowers, I want to paint the sky, or I want to paint rocks, I want to paint trees, please do so. All right, have a wonderful time doing art, and I will see you soon. Love ya. Take care. Bye.